hope I remember how to do this. It's been a while. Oh, I forgot to tweet. God damn it, I forgot to tweet. Get share link. Come on, you can tweet. What do I got, 30 seconds? I can do it. I can do it. No, god damn it. Home. Home. I don't care about NASCAR being back. Twitter. Qapla All. My full hospital debrief begins now. Doot. Doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. 2 seconds to spare. Hello world, it's Berto Prey 5, Qapla. Oh, and welcome to my hospital debrief for May 2020. Monday through Friday in the hospital in the time of COVID. And yeah, so things were a little different. But this is my first personal live stream that I'm doing since I've been back from the hospital. I literally spent all day, but I woke up and then went to bed all day during LDG's 24-hour live stream. And before that, I was on someone's stream on Friday night, right before I collapsed to just exhaustion. But this is my first actual live stream since getting back from the hospital. And Joseph Patrick with a €2 super chat says, hello world. It's Joseph Opay 2. Welcome home, Bert. Thank you so much, Joseph. And John D donated $5. Is glad you are feeling better. Qapla, thank you so much, John D. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for so much. So much has happened. Let me read some of the comments. Joseph Patrick was here early. Am I starting anytime soon? Soon, of course. So they were hanging out at LDG stream, but they were all going to come here. Very cool. I was at LDG stream earlier, but was busy, so I couldn't chat. But I was listening. 54.5 Access Radio, playing the best of the Access powers. Hail Karoga. Hail Access Radio. John DeMarco says, welcome back, Bird. Looking forward to the stories you have to tell. Indeed, thank you. DJ Odyssey says, let's get the show on the road. Cinnabon Bunny says, hello, Qapla. John DeMarco says, greetings, everyone. Greetings, John DeMarco. Indie Tiger says, hello. Bradley Briggs says, zup, y'all. Zup. Richie Fool says, it's about time. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Richie. Aberjam says, Bird of Prey McClunky, Jaloja will reign. Lady Mist says, hello, welcome, Lady Mist. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. I missed you so much. Oh, thank you. I missed you guys. I was listening here and there in the hospital, but only having a cell phone, and then the arm I would normally hold my cell phone in had IVs going to it, which made it tough. And, things you forget, like you're not supposed to bend your arm when you have the IV going in, and it was just, I thought I was going to be able to do so much more from my phone. I basically used it to listen for a few minutes here and there, and that was about it. That's, yeah, that was different too. It was, I'll tell you about that. Richie Fools is no fair keeping me hanging for the last 2 days. I'm so sorry, Richie. I was so tired Friday and so tired yesterday, although even though I was on LDG stream, I took many naps during the stream. If you rewatch, I mean, I don't think anybody will, but if you want to rewatch the 12 hours I was there, I took many naps. Mark the Infinitely Tired. Mark, I always realize your name, but I think I'm only understanding it recently. Says evening. Good evening, Mark the Infinitely Tired. Chronos says Qapla World. Qapla Chronos 47 Yorktown says do. Yes. And Mike Richards says, wait, a bird forgot to tweet. Oh, that is funny. That's funny. Bradley Briggs says Qapla Bradley. Bucket. Buckethead Land says, hail Karoga, hail Buckethead Land. Mark Andy says, bird flies free, huzzah. I don't know about free, but I am home. Thank you, Mark Andy. Mando Merck says, hey, Qapla Mando. Cronus is Bird of Prey, Hospital Tales. Yay, yes. Hospital Tales. Epic Beards says, Bird is not back until we hear a rant to make sure he's healthy. So we demand a rant. Well, Epic, there may be one. I don't even know anymore. LDG Pixel says, hail, LDG, and another round of applause and accolades for LDG. No matter what he looks like, I don't care how ugly people say I'm kidding. No. He did an amazing 24-hour God honest live stream that he himself hosted. I mean, except for some Jaloja breaks and probably a couple other breaks that he called Jaloja breaks, but were a little longer than Jaloja breaks. But, aside from those breaks, he hosted the stream the entire time himself. Well done, LDG. Alexander Brooks says, hello, guys. Hello, Alexander Brooks. Kronos is Bird of Prey. Holy smokes, my friend. I'm so pleased you aren't dead. Well, so am I. I'm also pleased I'm not dead, and Mamo Prey, I'm sure, is also pleased as well. And I'm glad you're not dead, Kronos. Alexander says, welcome back. Thank you. Jeff Franklin says, greetings. Welcome home. Thank you, Jeff Franklin. Same to you. Purple Lady says, good evening, all. Great to have you back. Thank you so much, Purple Lady. Bradley Briggs says, I hate YouTube's new pull down on the screen to minimize the video thing on the app so freaking much. Oh, yeah. I so rarely ever use YouTube on my cell phone. It was a big learning experience. Derek McManus says, is Bird of Prey still alive? Result, all hail Bird of Prey. Thank you. Kronos is Bird of Prey. You're about a week's worth of chats behind. That's got to be a new record. Jeff Franklin says, Bird of Prey is about time. It's about.
Oh, yeah.
The New York City Health Department just donated $1. We must inform you that the nurses are, by the way, kissing Dax. Well done. We must inform you that the nurses are suing you for harassment you did to them. A few are now in mental hospitals. We will reject you from entering. We will reject you from entering all NYC hospitals. Please stay away. Well, funny thing about that NYC Health Department is that I didn't go to a New York City hospital, so go F yourself, because that I wouldn't. It would be a last resort that you'd find me in an actual hospital within the 5 boroughs of New York City. I mean, it could happen, but it would not be by choice. So Jeff Franklin says, it's about time is a Doctor Who reference. It's about time is more than a Doctor Who reference. So I would say that's a common vernacular phrase. Derek McManus says hello to Purple Lady. Alexander says just sub to LDG. Thought I must have been an oversight. Yes, people should definitely sub to LDG. Good stuff. Derek says hello to Kronos. Aberdeen of Bird of Prey. Sorry you got a ton of love from the Exozone. Rightly so. So much BS and so many B's in the chat. Yes, Exozone was one show I did listen to almost all of, although there were times I had nurses coming in and whatnot, and I couldn't hear the whole thing. But Exozone on Thursday was a godsend. My favorite YouTube show, and it happened to come on right on at a particularly good time. So thank you. Yes, everybody I know here, and I'm going to go through it's a mighty long list, and I will miss people, but some people just went above and beyond. And we'll get to everybody. We'll get to everybody. Thank you. My voice sounds strong. Thank you, Mike Richards. Nathaniel says, Bird of Prey, so happy you're home. I hope you feel a lot better. I feel certainly better than when I went in, Nathaniel. We still have some issues, I'll be honest. There are still some serious issues to deal with, but with luck in the next 5 to 10 days, they will work themselves out. Josh and Rebecca Mamamane says, Bird of Prey, Hale, welcome back. Missed you, buddy. Now get back to work. I know. Thank you, Josh and Rebecca Mamane. Richie Poole saw me on DJ stream. I was sleeping through everybody's stream partly, I'll be honest. My antibiotics, I'm on 2 heavy duty oral antibiotics. And hell, when I'm on one of them, it knocks me out. Now I'm on 2 of them. It is I'm napping 4 or 5 times a day. Now, Actress is Bird of Prey. Very happy to see you. Mama Prey homework. Thank you. Lurk mode on. Qapla, actor. Qapla. Mountains of Elysium says greetings, Bird of Prey, Mama Prey, fellow nerds. Great to have you home and streaming. Thank you, Mountains of Elysium. Joseph says, congrats on 2,000 subs. Yes. Freaking amazing. 2,000 subscribers while I was in the hospital. Mostly thank you to Anti-Trekker. But there were so many others. And okay, yeah, stop reading the chats and get to the stories. Thank you, DJ. Thank you. Okay, so guys, I understand. Let me just do a quick scan. But hello, Robert Rose Jr. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Mountains of Elysium, on the sassy greeting. Epic Beard, hello. Richie Poole, we stand for Bird of Prey. Indeed. Thank you, guys. That's another thing we're going to talk about. Kronos says Dax is not maintaining a 6-foot kissing distance. Is it New York City Health Department a contradiction in terms? Richie Poole says any Florence Nightingale effect. You know what, Richie Poole? Here's the thing. There is no such thing as the Florence Nightingale effect. I Googled it years and years ago. I was like, I wonder if that's something, how can I put the Florence Nightingale effect to my benefit? You know what I found when I Googled it? It doesn't exist. It was a term made up strictly for Back to the Future. It never existed prior in the English language. There's been no ever diagnosed case of the Florence Nightingale effect of nurses falling in love with their patients. I'm sure it's happened, but it's never been called the Florence Nightingale effect. It's never happened on any level where it got a name. That was strictly made up for Back to the Future. And Jeff Franklin says, but It's About Time is best done by Doctor Who. I don't know. Sean H. Corey Qapla says, Joel on True. Glad to see you back. Thank you so much, Sean. Mike Richards says, napping is good. the body heals faster when the brain is asleep. Oh, well, then I should be really fast. Carlos' vertebrae, me and my mom are so glad you are back home and doing well. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you so much. And yes, Doc Brown invented that effect. Kronos is absolutely right. No, I don't know if we're going to be doing Dear Bob's Kronos. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, guys, you guys know Monday morning I did a stream. I was scared. I was scared poopless. I had not been to the hospital in over 4 years. Okay, I had a history. You guys know 2009, 2010. I spent a year in the hospital. I was back there at the end of 2011. I was back there in 2013. I was back there in 2015. And I was back there, I think, 2016. But since 2016, when it was not a great experience, I was like, never again am I going to the hospital unless I'm already passed out, because that was it. I was like, never again. And then, we're in the current COVID problem lockdown. Queens County is literally the worst county in the United States for it. We are just a few miles away from the so-called epicenter. And frankly, Mama Pray and I have been doing so good, maintaining such social distancing and not even letting a drop of air or package come in without 2 pairs of gloves from Mama Pray to get it in, put it in quarantine, and or Lysol it off. It was crazy. We were so good. Didn't order anything we didn't have to. And so until the dentist came. Then the dentist came and he's like got his hands in my mouth. Granted, he had glove on, but whatever. And then I started feeling pretty shitty. But it wasn't the dentist, at least I don't think so, because what I had nothing to do with the dentist. So basically what was going on was since the week before, since last week, I was having pain in my groin. I have a history of having boils, and the groin is not uncommon area for me to get them. So nothing was totally, all that unusual. Usually they grow, they get a little painful, they open on their own, we drain them, and they go away. Once in a while I have to take an oral antibiotic. That makes them go away even quicker. And only once in my life prior to this did I ever have to go to the hospital or a doctor to have the wound, to have a boil lanced. And that only ever happened once in, my 40 plus years on earth. So I just didn't think it was that big a deal. I anticipated it would open and it'll be over, but it got worse. It got worse. It got worse. We were so scared of going to the hospital. On top of it being COVID. Oh. Not Ryan Johnson donated $100. Thank you so much, Not Ryan Johnson. Yeah, if it's a mistake, let me know. We can, it looks like it was donated through PayPal, so we could fix it. Glad you are home, Bird. I was worried about you and Mama Pray the whole time. Now get back to ranting and making me laugh. I will do my best, Not Ryan Johnson. I'll do my best. Oh shit, where was I? No, we weren't anywhere near that part yet. Oh no, we had a boil. So I had a boil. Right, it was getting worse. We were afraid. We were afraid because it was, we hadn't been to the hospital in years. We hadn't been to the hospital since we had Sassy. I hate to say it, but yes, Sassy was one of the things on my mind. I was very worried about Sassy. Sassy has never been alone. We didn't know what would happen. Not a mistake. Thank you so much, not Ryan Johnson. Incredible. Thank you. So yeah, we really didn't know what would happen with Sassy. Also, this was frankly, we were just a day away from the anniversary of me going into the hospital 10 years prior, 11 years prior for the big one, the sleep. Mama Pray always worries about this time of year. It's like everything was against us. It's like we were doing our best to avoid this. We were calling doctors, we were doing our best to see if we could get this treated at home, even though it was becoming more painfully obvious to me every day that I was going to have to, something was going to break. Either it was going to break or I was going to have to go to the hospital because there was just no way I could deal with this constant excruciating pain. And it was growing every night. And finally, I spoke to Adega on Sunday night, explained to him, because he's a doctor, I explained to him the full details, the size of it. And he's like, listen, he's like, if it gets any worse, you're really going to need to basically go to the hospital, get this taken care of. And unfortunately, that next morning, not only did it get bigger, it like doubled in size. And DJ says, yeah, that's why I yelled, don't let them put you to sleep. Well, never again. I'll tell you that. I don't want to say never, but it would be very, very, very unlikely. Derek, I'm back. Yes. Hello, Derek. Thank you, Richie Poole. Thank you, Derek. Derek says, yay. So we were afraid. I did my first stream telling you guys how worried we were. It took Mama Pray a couple hours to pack everything. Now, you see, when I go to the hospital, we bring a ton of our own supplies because I have a bed sore on my back, on my sacrum. We have our own supplies we use in the course of getting washed and cleaning and daily stuff, routines. The hospital has some stuff, but frankly, ours is better. And sometimes the hospital doesn't have theirs available. So they're usually happy to see us bring our own supplies and whatnot. So literally getting all that stuff together, including my CPAP machine, everything. It takes time. So it took a couple hours for Mom Pray to get these bags, suitcases together. And so she calls the ambulance. Now we call the ambulance directly from we call an ambulance not 911, but we call another number. The real number. No, we called another number. So they dispatch the ambulance from the hospital we want to go to, rather than the New York City ambulance, which doesn't have to take us out of the city. So they come, and they're asking what from a distance. They were asking Mama Pray, what were my symptoms, and they were at first they were like, oh, okay, they were going to come in without even barely just wearing a mask, without any other preventative stuff, because it was very, very, very unlikely it had anything to do with COVID. Until Mama Pray told them about the dentist being here a week ago and him having had COVID. Then they put on they put on gowns and stuff and extra gloves. And after that, they were like treating me like I had it. And I was like, okay. And they refused. They were first at refusing to even let Mama Pray come with us, let alone all the bags. They told her flat out she's not going to be allowed in the hospital. I tried to explain that I need her. Like, I literally can't do anything without her. It's not that, she's like, well, they have nurses. Like, I understand they have nurses, but don't lie to me. I've been in the hospital far more than I'm not an idiot. If you press the nurse call button, it doesn't mean a nurse just instantly shows up. It could be 5 minutes. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. Frankly, it could be a lot longer than that. Sanchicky. Not Ryan Johnson with a $25 super chat. How could I forget about Sassy O'Prey? Get her some treats for going through scary times. Not Ryan Johnson. Oh, you already. Sassy still has treats, but I will. I will absolutely not, Ryan Johnson. Thank you so much. So we have this kind of argument with the ambulance drivers. In the end, they let Mom O'Prey come in the ambulance with me, tell her she's not going to be allowed into the hospital, and she can only take, basically, she can only take what she can fit in her pocketbook. So she has to go through what was virtually two and a half suitcases full of stuff, and like take the most important stuff she could fit in a suitcase. Also, to be quite blunt, obviously you can't take the Geloja machine into the hospital. I tried. They said they did not want any part of the Geloja machine in the hospital, which makes it very, very hard for me to pee, especially since the situation that I was having was in the groin area. And I couldn't use like a urinal for reasons because that's where the problems were. So I had a very hard time to pee, and like literally I didn't know what I was going to do about even urinating. It was just something we're going to have to figure out once we got to the hospital. What we did was we packed myself up with some like diapers just in case. Not that I've ever really worn a diaper before, but I knew it would absorb most of the urine if it had to. Anyway, don't worry about it. We get in the ambulance. We get to the ER. They take us right in. And right at the front desk of the ER, the woman, Mom O'Prey calls the hospital. They say she can come. They say she can come and talk to the nurse. It'll be up to the nurse manager to decide if she can stay. So we come in, and already the first lady at the front desk is telling Mom O'Prey she can't come in. I'm like, no, we called. She has to speak to the nurses and explain. They're like, no, we have state rules. As long as he's able to make his own mental decisions, you're not allowed in here. And she's like, you don't understand. Yes, he can make his mental decisions, but physically he's non-ambulatory. He can't sit up. I'm like, do you understand, lady? If I start coughing and I can't sit up because I can't, they have you on a gurney, not on my hospital bed. I can power the bed up, put the back up and sit up. On a gurney, that's metal. You can't do any of that. And I was like, if I start coughing, I literally cough. I can't sit up and I drown in my own coughing. I was like, that is literally how my grandfather died. He died in the hospital, in his own coughing, because there was nobody there. He was in ICU at Columbia Presbyterian. And granted, he had complications, but what actually killed him was he died from coughing and not being able to spit it up because nobody was there with him. Because we didn't understand how hospitals worked yet in the family. So I was like, my grandfather literally died from coughing his own phlegm. And she was like, no. She was like, no. Thank you, Joe Biden. I'll get to that in a minute. And so they took Mom O'Prey out. She said, you have to leave like right now, or you're calling security. So Mom O'Prey went out to the side room to wait in the area where the manager was going to have to come speak to her. In the meantime, I'm like afraid I'm going to piss all over the place. They take me into a room and they put me on a gurney. They're nice. Don't get me wrong. The people that are dealing with me are nice, but they're not able to provide. I was like, okay, but what if I need somebody like right now? It's like, can I get the nurse call button? They're like, no, nurse will be right here. Like, you don't understand. I need to be able to call somebody. They're like, no, they'll be right here. And they leave. And then, you know what? In all honesty, the nurse did come in about 2 minutes later, but still, that was 2 minutes. I was scared shitless. because I can't do anything. I'm literally just laying in a gurney, unable to do anything but yell. But if I start coughing, I'm not even sure I'd be able to do that. The nurse comes in. She gets started. Oh, she's actually very nice. I explained to her that, listen, if there's anything they could do to get me onto a full-size hospital bed, it would be tremendous, because being on the gurney is extremely painful for me, and my stage 4 bed sore on my sacrum. It hurts. And once I'm in an actual hospital bed, it makes life so much more easier. And she said she would see what she could do. I was actually happy that she didn't say no, we can't do that, because they've done it before. So okay, fine. And then a couple minutes later, mom walks in, and she said, no, I spoke to the manager, and they're saying it's okay. They're making an exception, that technically she's not legally allowed in by the standards set by New York State. That for them to guarantee to her to allow her to stay with me, I would have to be not mentally capable of making my own decisions. But because I can make my own decisions, whoever drafted this stupid restriction didn't think about people who needed 24/7 care. Like, literally, they just didn't think about it. So they were making an exception. They let mom stay, which was a tremendous help. And then, honestly, like a half hour, an hour later, the lady said, oh, your bed is here. It's outside. We just got to wait for the mobility team to come to transfer you to it. Which, at that point, I was already starting to feel a hell of a lot better. They gave me the COVID test. It is not fun. I'll be honest. If you have not had this done, this is the nasal test. They stick this giant Q-tip up both nostrils of your nose and just like push it back and forth against what I assume is your brain. No, it's not your brain. But whatever it is, it hurts. It's not okay. It's not the most painful thing in the world by any means. There are far more painful things. I will just say it's very uncomfortable and very unpleasant. And so they did take it through both nostrils, and then they put this stick in a tube, and they send it to the lab. And once they came back negative after a couple hours, they said, okay, you'll be, and they knew I was being admitted to the hospital either way at that point. But there's COVID positive floors and COVID negative floors. So once they came back negative, they did kind of got a little bit. I mean, everybody was still wearing a mask, including myself, until I got to the room. Once I got to the room, like, my roommate wasn't wearing a mask, and so the nurses, all the nurses wearing masks and gloves, but I was able to take my mask off for a little bit. But before that happened, when they put me on the hospital bed in the emergency room, that's when I made my video that day, thanking everybody, because like the most scary part for me had been over. Once I was in the actual hospital bed, my worst part personally was over. While this was happening, Mama Pray was messaging with Lori Roberts, who is a saint, because Sassy was home alone for hours at this point. She had never been home alone at all. And Lori Roberts offered to come to Bayside and get Sassy. Now, what we did was we hid a key outside my house before we left. So Mom told Lori Roberts where to get the key. And Lori was able to come in. And unfortunately, I forgot that Sassy is, besides being my beagle, she is scared of new people. She runs away from new people. And Sassy, having never seen Lori Roberts before, took off. She was hiding in the basement, and then she came up and was running around my house. has kind of a circular, has like a big island in the middle. So like you have to just chase her in a circle. Lori obviously can't do that forever. So Sassy had, there was nowhere for Sassy to go for Lori to get her. So Lori, realizing she wasn't going to be able to get Sassy, fed Sassy, cleaned up after Sassy, put some fresh wee pads down, and did so many things. And Lori, she must have seen our house, which is not, don't get me wrong, our house is far from museum nice at any time. Okay, this is a very lived in home. It always has been. But besides all that, we had bags and bags of crap that Mamo Prey had just gone through in a frantic measure to take, 3 bags of suitcases and condense them into her pocketbook to get to the hospital. So this house must have looked like a total hoarder's house / wreck to Lori. But thank you again, Lori. So we were happy, even though she didn't get to take Sassy. Somebody was there. They fed Sassy. We knew Sassy was good for at least through the night, if need be. And what happened after that was we ended up calling Camille. We didn't want to impose on Camille because Camille's super busy being a nurse herself. But as soon as Camille heard what was going on, she's like, "Why didn't you call me first?" Of course, I would have gone go get Sassy on my lunch hour. So after work, Camille came here, got Sassy. Now, Sassy loves Camille. It took them 6-8 months to bond, but once they did, it was a very tight bond. And so Sassy had no problem going with Camille, and Camille took Sassy to her home, and Sassy got to sleep in Camille's bed, and we were so happy once Sassy was doing good over there. So that was good with Sassy. So I finally get into a hospital bed. We had gotten into the hospital, I don't know, about noon, I guess we got to the hospital. And I would say around midnight, we got into a hospital bed in a room. Now, the hospital itself was far less crowded than we've ever seen it. Usually when you would go into the emergency room, they'd put you in a little room, and then after 15 or 20 minutes, and once the doctor looks at you, they would pull you out and leave you in a hallway. They said no, they stopped doing that since COVID. I would be able to stay in the little emergency room emergency room cubby hole, whatever you want to call it, until I got a room, which was really nice to know because the hallways suck. Anyway, so we got a room. And my first roommate was a very elderly gentleman. He, you could hear him heavy breathing. And okay, fine. We get settled in the room. They take vitals. It's nothing of consequence happens, but the room, the nurses are very nice. Everything goes well. The next morning, we hear some people come in for my roommate. It's physical therapy. They talk to him. It's very, very hard to understand him. He's quite old. I don't know if he had a stroke, making it hard for him to speak or whatever, but it was really hard to understand. He really didn't have the strength to do anything. And the way he was breathing is frankly the way Mamo Prey's husband was breathing before he passed away. And I think we both looked at each other and knew it was not a good sign. And to jump ahead a little, the next day, he ended up passing away. What they did was his friends, I guess his family, they did a video chat. The nurse brought in I guess a cell phone with video, and they looked at him and they said their goodbyes. And I will say that again, the nurses this time were the most professional and on the top of their game I have ever seen. And again, I've been to hospital 6-7 times since 2010. They were being the most respectful. This man was clearly there. They wrote right on. You could see right on the front of the room. They write, things. We heard he had a do not resuscitate order. He was there just for care and comfort. They would provide care and comfort. And I'm gonna be honest, they washed him every morning. They cleaned his poop at least once a day. I don't know when the last time he ate was, but he was still pooping. So, but they did it. They were doing it. They were dignified about it. And the man didn't seem to suffer. When it was clear they couldn't get any vital signs from him for a while, you could still hear him on the breathing machine. But they called his family and they took him off. Now, at this point, the nurse who was with us was a very especially friendly nurse, and she didn't know that we knew that he died. And so Mama Pray told her at the end, she's like, just so you know, we know. She pointed. Do you want to tell that part? Or no? Okay. Yeah. So she's like, just so you know, we know. And she pointed to the other side of the curtain, and the nurse was like relieved. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, I didn't know what to tell you. I was going to pull you out because I didn't want to upset your son. I'm like, no. I was like, honestly, I was like, I realized 3 days ago that this was going to happen. When we first got there, it was like this poor guy. He was quite old, and you could tell. Unfortunately, like I said, it was the exact same breathing pattern I'd seen before. He was non-responsive for most of the time, and so they took him away, and that was my first roommate. Unfortunately, that passed, but he seemed to have been an older man. I only can hope he had a decent life, and I'll tell you about the second roommate in a minute. So Joe Biden donated $1 earlier. I'm so sorry, Joe Biden. He said, hello to my uncle. I'm glad you're out of the hospital. We need to say Trump poisoned you. I need moderates to vote for me. After all, the idiot liberals are voting for me no matter what I do. Question, what are those objects with ties racing on my TV called? What are those objects with ties racing on my TV called? Joe Biden, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Ties? Like a tie, like a person wearing a tie? I don't know. Are you watching golf? Are you watching golf? That's not racing. Oh, are you watching you're watching one of the races is back. What is it? The NASCAR. I don't think they wore ties in NASCAR, do they? No. Joe, I don't know what you're watching, Uncle Biden. Just keep drinking what it is, whatever it is you drink, Cat Biden. Just keep drinking it. So okay, so back in the hospital. So before the second roommate comes, I had a CAT scan. Now, what I thought was first I thought it was a giant boil. My primary care doctor says if it's that big and it hasn't, opened yet, it could be cellulitis, and that made more sense to me. And so when they got to The hospital, they did a CAT scan and they said, yeah, we don't see it. It looks like cellulitis. There's no abscess. There's nothing to drain. And so you're just going to have to take IV antibiotics and, it should clear it up. They gave me vancomycin and Zatha, some other one with a Z, but they're basically trying to take all whatever they could. So I was on that for a few days. To be honest, the first day really didn't get much better. The second day started to look a little better. And then because we had spoken to so many doctors before we left, trying to get a doctor to say, no, stay home and wait it out. But every single doctor said, no, you better go to the emergency room. One of the doctors we spoke to was a friend of my sister's. So when we explained where the issue was, and he said, not only should you go to the hospital, he said that you should get a urology team to double check, because it's a very sensitive area, and you probably want a urologist to take a look. So while we were in the hospital, I specifically asked for a urology team to come, and so they sent a urologist over. Actually sent a team of urologists over. The first time was just one. Then they sent, I guess 3 of them came the next day. And so they were just looking to see what was going on. Did it get worse or whatever? And as they went to look, there was, it broke. Apparently it was more of a boil than cellulitis. For whatever reason, the CAT scan didn't show it up. The doctors apologized to me for 2 days, but they touched it, and so much pus and blood and gook and icky stuff came pouring out of me. It was disgusting. But to these 3 urologists, they were like kids in a candy store. They were so happy. They were like, oh, this is great timing. I've never been so lucky. One other guy says, yeah, this is easily in my top 20 best timings in my life. And he was like Mama Praise age, like well over 60. And they're like, this is great. They were squeezing on things to get more to come out and blah, blah, blah. And they're just covering in the area. They're cleaning it. They couldn't imagine. They were so happy to see all this gook come out. Disgusting, awful, nasty. No, it wasn't a padded room. It wasn't a padded room. New York did not ban resuscitating patients. I don't know. Maybe for COVID. I did not hear that. No, there's no such ban. He had a do not resuscitate. Yeah, I don't know about where that's. Yeah, there's certainly no ban. No, these weren't interns. This was the head of urology and a couple of, maybe, I don't know. I don't think either one was an intern. One was a resident and one was probably just a younger guy. And I'll get to the super chat in just a minute. Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, they were giddy. The Mama Praise says they were almost dancing. And then they were like, oh, it was like they were doing frontier medicine, because they didn't have anything they needed, because they weren't expecting any of this to happen. And they were a urology team that they wouldn't normally be doing this. So one guy's like, I'll just use scissors. So he's cutting it open with scissors. He's like, you probably won't feel this anyway. And I didn't. And then they're like, oh, do we have this? No. So they got, instead of Q-tips, forget the Q-tips. I'll just use this. And he brings out a pair of forceps or something. And he's trying to stuff the packing into my leg. And then he's like, oh, I'll get Q-tips. And a guy comes back, so you pull everything they just did out and they do it over again the right way. And when it's all said and done, there's this giant hole in my leg that's all packed in. And they say, we're going to call wound care. They'll have to come take a look at this. They just did a temporary job. And okay, fine. They left. And even though it was like ridiculously, it was painful at the time, the pain level had gone way, way down because frankly, the most painful part had opened and drained. And they were like, also having, this is going to be so much quicker now. The medication is going to work a lot better. It was a high point. We were all thrilled. This is what we had hoped was going to happen before we left the house. And, but then, what were they had to do? Yeah, they were there. That's right. They were considering doing surgery to cut into me. They didn't even think it was drainable. They thought it was just a solid mass under there. They thought they were going to have to do surgery. So a surgeon came in a couple minutes later and she said, I was, whatever the real surgeon is in surgery, surgery resident came. So she wanted to look and we explained to her what just happened. And she's like, oh, okay. So it's really not a candidate for surgery anymore. So she left. Then we kept waiting for wound care to come back. And we're asking the doctors, like the nurses, like, what about wound care? And they're like, yeah, wound care says they don't need to come. I'm like, no, wound care does need to come because of what just happened with the urologists. And they still refused to come. At this point, I told Mama Pray, let me call wound care on my cell phone and explain to them what just happened. But Mama Pray was hesitant because she was afraid that if I called them and made a commotion, which is what I was going to do, that they would kick her out of the hospital, which they might have. So what it is was we got a nurse to repack it. And I see Mama Pray can do this type of packing. She's done it before, but yeah, it was tough. Yes, Mama Pray. Uh-huh. Right.
She was not knowledgeable. It was
Right. Yeah, we had that particular day nurse was a very nice person, but she was not a particularly knowledgeable nurse when it came to this. We had a lot better nurses than her, to be frank. Not that I had terrible nurses, but we had a lot better nurses than her throughout the stay. The night nurse. Yes, the night nurse comes on at 7 p.m. and she was the one who got us all set and cleaned for the night and whatnot. Let me get to the super chats I missed. Joe Biden with $1 donation says, can you send me those nurses' numbers? I need to poll them. Also, because it's summer and it's getting warmer, I sent you some frozen water. You should get it in 3 weeks. And T-Berg sci-fi fan with a $10 Canadian super chat says to help cover the cost of Boyle's Law experiment. Having to lance one myself. Lol. Oh, thank you so much, T-Berg. And Psycho Dwarf 9 with a $5 super chat. Real glad things are going okay. Thank you so much, Psycho Dwarf 9. I appreciate it. I appreciate it all, guys. I appreciate it all. So, and there it just came through. Okay. So also, while this was going on, after Mama Pray stayed with me the first night, and then we didn't know how long we were going to be in the hospital for. So what I did, we kept asking for, do they have a list? Because we know that they allow private one-on-one sessions, you to hire private one-on-one nurses. Now, you see, here's the deal. If you are nuts, or if you're a criminal, they will give you a one-on-one for free. If you're a danger to yourself or others, they will give you a one-on-one for free. M squared, Qapla M squared. Hi, this is M squared, M raised to the second power. Glad you are home. Enjoy your content with a $99.99 super chat. M squared Qapla, thank you so much. Honestly, I think this is the first time I've seen you in the chat, because I probably would have remembered M squared as a username, because I like some math stuff, things like that. You know, e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0. I'm down with it. I thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm going to tell you guys where this super chat money is going to, by the way. So we knew we could hire a one-on-one, but we never were able to before. Finally, this time, Mama Pray spoke to a case manager, somebody in charge, who got us a sheet that gave us the list of phone numbers to the agencies that they allow in the hospital. So if you order from these places, they'll be allowed in. So of course, I get the paper. I call the first 4 numbers. No one answers. No one answers the first number. It goes to a machine. The second number, out of order. The third number just does like a fax beep. And then the fourth number, no one answers, no machine. It just rings forever. And Mama Pray is like, Joe, just don't, just stop. Don't go crazy. So I was like, no. So I wait maybe an hour, and I try the first number again. And finally somebody picked up this time. I explained the situation, and they said, yes, we can do one-on-ones. They can come from 8 to 12 hours. It's $30 an hour. And, let us know how quickly you need us. So that same day, we scheduled a one-on-one to come in for Tuesday night. So Mama Pray could go home Tuesday night and get some rest. And so we did an 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And they came. They were a few minutes late, but they came. I explained to her what I needed to do, which at this point was anytime I had to urinate overnight, which was generally 4 or 5 times a night, because they had me on IV fluids. She had to turn me to my side, and so I explained it to her. She did. She was very nice. She stayed with me the whole night. The few times I needed to turn, she helped me. Couldn't have gone better. Mama Pray got there just a few minutes after she left. Everything was fine. So first time we worked with one. Now, granted, it was over $300 for that one night, but it gave Mama Pray a giant break. And because of changes in insurance I did this year to years before, the overall cost of this hospital stay will be a lot less to me than it would have been in prior years. In prior years, a hospital stay like this, I would have been paying several $1,000s off for several years in a payment plan. This time, it shouldn't have to be anything like that. So if we have to spend a few $100s on a one-on-one so Mama Pray can get some rest every so often, we figured we could do that. So we did it that night. It worked out. The next night, Mama Pray stayed with me at the hospital all night. And then Thursday night, it happened again. We said, okay, well, let's do this again, because what Mama Pray really wanted to do was clean. And the first time she got home, she really didn't have a chance to do any cleaning. She did some, but not much. So we did it again. We did 7 to 7 this time, because that was when the nurse was available, PCA, whatever she was. So Mama Prey got that, and she got the house and the bed. She got everything ready for me to return. Although this was Thursday, we still had no idea when this was going to be. We in the hospital, you have to understand, nothing really happens on weekends. So if you're still there on Friday evening, you're likely not going anywhere till at least Monday, because the regular doctors go home for the weekend. The case managers, the people who take care, who make the decisions of when you're going home, who schedule your ambulance to go back home in a case like mine, they're not even in the hospital on the weekends. So we fully thought we were going to be there all weekend, and it wasn't until midday Friday that the doctor came in, very happy that my numbers had gotten so much better, and said, "Hey, you know what? You're going to go home today." And honestly, this was the quickest turnaround from going home was like 2 or 3 hours. He told us you're going home, and then boom, I was on an ambulance ride back. But I was on Captain Track's stream when all this happened. I had to close I had to close it so I could talk. But let's go back a day. So Thursday night, Mama Prey's home sleeping. There's a different nurse with me that night. Anyway, we get my quote unquote my second roommate. Okay. Now the second roommate, I don't see him. At no point can I see him. There's a, the room has a curtain going down the middle. I can't see him. He can't see me. But this is like the middle of the night, like 1 a.m. They're bringing him in. He doesn't speak a ton of English. There's a Spanish translator on the phone trying to translate things for him. He does speak some English. Anyway, I basically understand he's in the hospital and for rectal bleeding. Okay. It happens. It happens, I guess. He sounded about my age. I didn't know how old he was. But so then he's talking in Spanish, and then so the translator is telling them what he's saying, and the translator says his husband needs to come with his medication. And I'm thinking, his husband needs to come with his medication. Okay, I get it. I'm hip, right? It's 2020. But I'm thinking, wait, rectal bleeding. And so they asked him, has he ever had this problem before of rectal bleeding? Ever in his life? Ever had it before? And he says no. And
divert auxiliary power to deflector.
I don't know the details of what goes on when a man loves another man like that, but I imagine some blood has to be involved at some point, right? Even if it's just a little bit, whatever. But he says absolutely not, never happened before. So it's in my mind that this guy's husband wants to come with his medication for the next day. And then the nurse or whoever was with him at the time told him okay. And I think she was just trying to get him to okay because he was a little panicking since he didn't know the language and whatnot. And so I guess he told his husband he'd be allowed to come the next day. But the nurse on the next day was not the same nurse. In fact, it was an older nurse. I'd say a more traditional nurse, maybe not as up on social trends, I guess. And so his husband calls in trying to get a hold of him because the phones are on the wall behind us. We can't reach him. And so the husband calls the nurse's desk, and the nurse comes in and says to him, "Oh, your son's on the phone to speak to you." And the guy's like, "What? He doesn't have a son." And so the nurse goes back, talks a little bit more. Goes back, he says, I'm sorry, not your son. Your father is on the phone. And again, he's like, what are you talking about? And so she goes back, and you hear her, but who are you to him? She's like, who are you? What's your relationship? She's like, husband. Oh, okay. So then she comes back in. He's like, I'm sorry. It's your husband on the phone. So, she whispered it. It's like, it's your husband on the phone. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, like 2 minutes later, they start yelling a little, not like yelling. They're just disagreeing because she's like, no, they said, she's first, because like he says, you said my husband could come up and give me my medication. And she's like, first off, I didn't say anybody could do anything. I wasn't here last night. Second, what I said was your husband could drop off your medication, and he still can. He can come to the front desk and drop it off. I will go down and bring it up. But no, he can't come up to the room because of rules. And they don't allow, in his case, they don't allow it up. Now, in all honesty, I felt bad for the guy because he barely, like I said, he barely spoke English. I'm sure he did not get the nuance as to whether, what she meant by, I didn't say he could come up, and he can come, but he can't come up to the room. It's like, just stop. Just be honest. No, you can't. He can't come. Anyway. Also, the good news was that by morning, his bleeding had stopped and he was hungry. And so they were putting him back on food. But they said that they had to do an enema. What's that called? Shit. Where they stick the camera up your butt. They had to do that. A colonoscopy on Monday, which I know this was Friday morning before we knew we were leaving. When they said, colonoscopy on Monday, I started getting, my face I was like, oh shit. That means Sunday he's going to be going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. If he's going to do that I was like, oh, this is not going to be the room to be in, because it was also hot as F outside, right? It was the hottest day of the week, Friday. The hospital, the AC was barely working, and I don't like it warm to begin with. The AC was on the fritz or whatever. It was the best they could do. So it was hot, and the only thing worse than hot is hot and stinky. And I did not want to be in a hot and stinky room all weekend with this guy getting his colonoscopy and mad that his husband couldn't come. But I was happy he was feeling better enough to eat. And then luckily, as it turned out, we didn't have to stay for it anyway. The poor second roommate. Oh, we got more. I'm so sorry. More super chat. Resolute Germ donated $2 through super chat. Glad to see you back on the Karogan throne. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Resolute. And Sovsborg donated $20 through super chat. Glad you're back. Thank you so much, Sovsborg. Qapla. Thank you to both of you. Yes, I am back. So luckily, I guess I didn't have to deal with it anyway. He's going to have today. I'm sure he's not having a fun day. I hope he's doing okay. He was a nice enough guy. I question how he could never have to have had this issue before. But whatever. So okay, the time comes for me to leave on the hospital, but we have so much stuff. So Mama Pray doesn't think there's gonna be room in the ambulance for her and all the bags. Plus, she wants to get back in time before me so that she can make sure my bed is ready and make sure the house is cool because we didn't have the air on. And so she leaves about, they'd say that the ambulance is coming at 3 p.m. So she leaves about 2:45. So she can get a jump on everything. So that's fine. So I'm there, and in fact, they actually show up, I'd say within 5 minutes of being on time, which again, for the hospital system, is probably the best, closest on time we ever got. And not only was it that, but instead of just the regular 2 people they have, we had 4 people. Because we had 2 people who knew what they were doing and 2 people who were being trained. But it was just good to have the extra hands. We did forget, unfortunately, my head pillow got left behind in the shuffle of everything, but it's not the biggest problem in the world. Everything else managed to get home. But the way home, well, let's put it this way. We get to the first floor, and we're about to open up because we got to go out the entrance of the emergency room, and a lady comes yelling right before they open the door and says, "Wait, you can't take him through there without a mask." They had forgot to put a mask on me. So she came up with a mask, so they masked me before they took me through the emergency room. We go outside the door, and it is the hottest day of the year. And the sun is the strongest I've seen it in a long, long time. Obviously not the strongest I've ever seen it, but the strongest I remember seeing it in the last 10 years. I feel like I'm being baked. They don't even let this ambulance near the emergency room. It's down a parking lot. We have to go over a speed bump in the stretcher and into a different parking lot to then go to the ambulance. Now, it was a nice brand new ambulance. I'll give them that. But then we're headed home, and I guess they missed their turn because we're driving, and again, I'm holding back, having to pee and to poop. But we won't be home soon enough. I've lived like 15 minutes from the hospital. Looking up 20, 25 minutes, we're still driving. I don't recognize anything. We've been off the highway for a long time. I don't know where we are. I asked him, like, "Guy, where are you going?" He reads me my address. He knows the address. I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Don't worry, we're only 3 minutes away." Bullshit, 3 minutes away. Another 10 minutes later, I still don't know where the fuck we are. And I tell him, like, "Guy, I don't know what this is. This is not my neighborhood. Where are we?" Nobody's giving me a straight answer. I'm a little annoyed, to be honest. I'm a lot annoyed. I'm freaking the F out. I think they're going to drop me off in front of the completely wrong house in the wrong neighborhood in a section of Long Island instead of a section of Queens. Anyway, after another 5 or 10 minutes, I finally recognize the neighborhood. I live, okay, the hospital is to my south and to my east. The hospital is to my southeast. Somehow, they went past my exits and they coming back down to my house from the northwest. So they not only went well west of my house, they went well north of my house. And they are coming to my house from an area that nobody in their right mind would ever have to go to, coming from that hospital. They must have been so far off course. I can't even imagine, because this finally, the first thing I recognize is the church yard where that summer bazaar, that summer fair happened that I was at last summer with Sis O'Prey. That was the first thing I recognized, and I know that's north of my house. So we were coming in from the northwest. even though we were way southeast. I don't know why they did. Oh, and then they drove past my house. And understand the streets around my house have been under an 8-year renovation project. They are bumpy as hell. And let me tell you, it is extremely uncomfortable in an ambulance. You're strapped down, but every bump you feel, it goes right through you. Anyway, I literally said, "There's my house. Stop. That's my house right there." And they're pointing the wrong way on the street. I'm like, "You idiot, you're an ambulance. Just go to the other side of the street. Who cares what way you're pointing?" He's like, "We've got to turn around." There's no place to turn around. So they drive all the way down my block, which has the railroad next to it. So not all the streets go through. And then he turns the fucking wrong way onto the next street, which is a giant avenue. He's like, "Oh, we're just going to turn around and come back." I was like, "You can't turn around. There's not another break in the road for a mile. What do you mean you're going to turn around?" No, you went the wrong way. They were not listening. The guy goes another fucking mile around and comes back around, and I am just angry as F right now. Happy to be home, but angry that this ride took twice as long as it needed to. And I'm hitting every fucking bump. Fine, bump. Okay, good. We finally pull up in front of the house. I calm down. Mama prays outside. They take me up. I get back into my bed. I said, "Listen, guys, I'm going to give you a perfect 10 out of 10 on the transfer." Because they were teaching the kids. They were teaching the newbies how to do it. So I was like, "Listen, guys, just for your feedback, not that you asked, but on the transfers between the hospital, the bed and the gurney to the bed, I can give you guys perfect 10 out of 10. And they were like, "Oh, thank you. I was like, "However, on that obstacle course you chose to use to get here, 5 out of 10. And they were laughing because we gave them some waters at this point. They were laughing. They were like, "Listen, this is like," they're like, "I did what Google said to do." I was like, "I don't know what Google tells you to do. Nobody's ever taken that route to get to my house. I can promise you that. I can't imagine. I don't even know what Google would have told you to do." They were trying to blame Google. Don't blame Google. You don't give me excuses. Oh, Google said this. How about you ask me something, right? It's so easy. You can get to the hospital to my house making 4 turns. Okay, I am that close. I live off a highway. You can get on the highway, go to a different highway. You get off the highway, you make 1 turn and a second turn, and you're in the hospital parking lot. It's basically the opposite, although there's a couple extra turns you have to make to get home because you have to go around a service road. But other than that, it is so ridiculously easy to get from here to there. It's like I could explain it to a child. I don't know what the hell they did, but it screwed everything up. Also, when I was in the hospital, and then even right before I went to the hospital, I have to send extreme amounts of thank you to a few people. Stone Loki's Mornings of Mischief, my friend, amazing. He dedicated his entire Monday morning show to the fact that I was going into the hospital. It was because of Loki that we managed to get Lori Roberts to come to the house to try to take Sassy, but in the end to feed her water, give her water, and clean up after her. So thank you again, Stone Loki and Loki's Mornings of Mischief, and everybody on his show. I got so many tweets, so many comments. so many, people DMing me if there was anything I needed. Loki, you went above and beyond. Lori Roberts, you went above and beyond. And everybody who contacted me privately, you guys know you guys went above and beyond. Anti-Tracker, again, a man who went above and beyond. I was at 1,600 and I think 40 or 1,650 subscribers. I'm sorry, 1,960 subscribers before I went into the hospital. And Anti-Tracker made it his business to get me to 2,000. And I'm actually, where am I at now? I'm actually well over 2,000. What are we at? 2,062. I've almost at 100 new subscribers since last week, since Monday. Almost 100 new subscribers. The vast amount of them from Anti-Tracker streaming, but also Mr. Miles, I saw you on Nerdrotic, report to Nerdrotic that I was in the hospital. People told Doomcock I was in the hospital. And Friday night on Nerdrotic, or earlier, maybe it wasn't Friday night. No, it was an earlier stream, a Tuesday stream Nerdrotic did. He told everybody I was in the hospital and to pray for me and whatnot. And I got so many more subscribers and well wishes from that. It was very great. Doomcock himself DM'd me personally and offered his best and his assistance in any way he could. I tried to tell him to push the button, but he wouldn't do it. But other than that, anything else he would do. I want to thank Doomcock. I want to thank Sci-Fi Nation, who made very generous offer. We won't need it, but a very generous offer via Twitter. Thank you, Sci-Fi Nation. And so many other people. It took me a day and a half just to read through all the comments on all my hospital life videos I did those first few days in the hospital. I want to thank everybody again. People reached out on Twitter, on Facebook, on everything. Thank you all so much. I greatly appreciate it. Mama Pray was taken aback. She could not admit it. She could not believe it as well. DJ admits it. I was one of them that messaged. Thank you, DJ. I think several people did. DJ Odyssey, also another great person. Captain Track. Kronos says, Bird of Prey, I want to thank you for ignoring me. I'm sorry, Kronos. I was ignoring everybody. I didn't realize that the chat hadn't moved for 20 minutes. I had it stuck. DJ says, I did DS9 for you. It only lasted 30 seconds, but I did it Wednesday. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Star Trek Nitpickers, thank you, Star Trek Nitpickers. Also, Orville Nation, PJ at Orville Nation. Not only did he go above and beyond in the Twitter and trying to get everybody noticed and everything up, but he changed his name from Orville Nation on Twitter to Karoga Nation on Twitter in solidarity for me being in the hospital. Thank you so much, PJ from Orville Nation. And DJ Odyssey donated $1. Let's get DJ Sucks Toes to trend. When I come to see my baby born, I can see your toes. What? What? DJ, have you changed from a furry to a toe sucker? Or has it always been both? And Kronos' Bird of Prey was referring to Discord. Jerk. Sorry, I haven't even been on Discord. Kronos. I apologize. Logie is in the house. Says PJ rocks. You guys, you both do, Loki. Loki, you got this started, man. That first morning of Mischief stream at Monday. Thank you. You know, I can't ever, nothing I do is ever going to make up for that. DJ says, Bird of Prey, that was Thomas sending that. How do you know it was Thomas? How would you know Thomas is sending? Why? How does Thomas know you're a toe sucker? I don't understand. It's very confusing. I know I've been in the hospital a week, but I must have missed a lot of things. So, DJ. Carlo Albanese Qapla says, I can't believe you actually ate the spam. That's Sunday. Glad you're home. So here's the deal. I'm home, but I still have some pain. I still have a lot of it that needs to go away on its own. Mamo Pray is packing it. Yesterday. So yesterday, the visiting nurse was coming to the house. So yesterday, and a wound specialist. So we let her in. She looks at the wound, and her and Mamo Pray talk about, different things and what to do. And then at the end, she's like, okay. And it takes all the energy out of me. And then at the end, she's like, okay, well, the wound specialist will give you a call later in the week. Like, wounds aren't, I don't say this to her, but to myself, like, I thought you were the wound specialist. Why the hell are you here if you're not the wound specialist? Why did we just waste an hour and a half going over shit if you're not the wound specialist? I want the wound specialist. I don't need you to come here. Now that I know you're not a wound specialist, you don't really have any ideas on anything.
Then she said they didn't tell her the...
Oh, and they didn't even tell her about the big bed sore I had on my backside. Yeah, they did take the scenic route. Yeah, they came in through Northern Orbit, through Whitestone. They came in through Whitestone. And DJ Odyssey with $1 super chat, dollar donation says, I suck toes wearing my furry costumes. Wow, DJ. The Mamo Price says it's TMI. TMI. Ebbing says, you're back, Bird Rant. Yeah, no, that scenic tour through Whitestone. And you know what upset me the most about the tour through Whitestone? The houses were so much nicer than mine. The houses are so much. I thought we were in like a rich part of Long Island. I didn't even know where the hell we were. I was like, these are not anywhere near my house. Because like my house, we have like, 1, 2-story homes, mostly 1-story. And I was looking at like 3-story, big, beautiful homes. Granted, they were close together. It is Queens, but it's like this isn't even close to where I am. Yeah, Mamo Pray was wondering like, what the hell's taking so long? Oh, and then I didn't have access to my cell phone because I forgot it, and they wrapped it up tight. Like, when you go in the hospital in a ambulance, they kind of wrap you in a cocoon of sheets, and then they tie you down with seat belts. So I couldn't even get to my cell phone. I could feel it because it rang once and vibrated. I could tell it was down there, but I couldn't get to it.
Wasn't me. I didn't...
No, it wasn't Mount Prey.
I really couldn't.
So.
Okay, back to the wound care nurse. I mean, that wasn't in wound care.
Right, yeah.
Do you need somebody to come tomorrow, or can you wait?
Yeah. Nick Chapin says there are rich areas in Bayside on the other side of Northern. Well, I'm north of Northern, but I'm right up against the LIRR track. So,
Yeah.
this area is nice, but it's like a quieter nice. I don't know how to say it.
People like,
Yeah, we're up. They were taking Utopia for some reason. I'm guessing they missed the Clearview exit and then went up Utopia, and I don't know why they went so far up, wherever the hell they went to, and then came down, and then we ended up coming down 203rd Street for like 10 blocks. It was just it was a disaster. It was a disaster. Your neighborhoods are more uniformly zoned, not as varied as where I live. Easterland, Burkholder. It might be. I mean, Queens is a big, county, borough. Loki, my phone's about to die. Take care, Qapla All, Loki. Thank you so much again, Loki. I will never forget what you did. Nick Chapin says, well, I'm glad you got home. Thank you so much, Nick. I was too. When all was said and done, this was probably one of my better hospitalizations.
yeah.
We had the least amount of difficulties. It was one of the harder ones in that usually Mama Prey gets to bring all my supplies. So we were kind of roughing it, dealing with hospital supplies. I didn't even have I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have Mama Prey got a Chromebook in on Thursday on Friday. Friday morning when Mama Prey came, she brought a Chromebook, but then we just a couple hours in we got the okay, we were going home, so I barely used it. But the vast majority of the time there, I just had my cell phone, which I could use for a few hours, use for a few hours and charge.
The only thing I
Yeah,
have to say,
yeah, you want to.
their washcloths and towels.
Mm-hmm.
Sandpaper would have been softer.
Oh, Mama Bray says, yes, sandpaper would have been softer than the washcloths and the towels. Yeah, that was one of the big problems. I should have set that to play forever. The stars stopped moving. Okay, they're fixed. Yeah, the one of the biggest things I was missing was our wipes, our washcloths, and our paper towels, because we were using these chucks to wash everything, and it just it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
And we missed Sassy anyway. So the day came home, I got back, and then Camille called, and she said, "Well, I know you guys love Sassy," and she brought Sassy home a couple hours after I got home, which was very nice of her. So Sassy is happy to be home. We're all one big furry family again. Or one of us is furry. No, I'm not. Well, I gotta say, the doctors and the nurses were looking at all my hair, trying to put things on. Like they were trying to put leads on to do a heart scan, and they just kept popping off. I'm like, you don't understand. It's not going to go on. There's too much hair. And they're like, we can get it. And like they abandoned it. 10 minutes later, they'd all fallen off again. And they were nowhere to be seen because they were stuck like hell to my hair. It was painful as heck. Did they at least give you good painkillers and steroid cocktail? No, only painkiller I got was Tylenol. Once or twice I got Tylenol. Nathaniel says, Bird of Prey, this still sounds like an insane journey. It was I still don't understand how I got there to here. But I gotta say, this was, as hospitalizations go, the nurses, frankly, have never been better. Uh, the hospital staff in general was accommodating. The food. Now, usually when you go there, the first day you're there, you get a menu for your second day, and then you get a menu for your third day, your fourth day, whatever. But for whatever reason, we stopped getting menus. Now, after a day, I finally asked, do we still get menus? I thought maybe they just stopped doing menus because of COVID. But no, apparently they still did menus, but for whatever reason, I never got one. I'm thinking that the unit I'm in maybe didn't have a lot of people capable of choosing their food, and maybe they just don't send menus to that section. But one day I had first I had like chicken and herb and chicken breast with rice, which was good. Chicken noodle soup. But every day was every lunch and dinner had chicken noodle soup. Some of days it was better than others. Pretty much every lunch and dinner had a roll, which was okay. But one lunch was steak. They called it steak and rice. It was beef and rice. It was delicious. Honestly, one of the best steaks I've had in a long time. Not even though it wasn't a steak, but I wish it had. Unfortunately, the next day it had shitty meatloaf, turkey meatloaf, which I didn't even bother to try. There was an Abu Pan in the place, so Mama Pray went down and would get me sandwiches from there. Yeah, they have really nice grilled cheese, really delicious grilled cheese. Did you, Richie Pools is Bird of Prey. Did you yell Kelly Clarkson when they ripped the tape? No. They didn't rip it off. I had to rip it off. Cross is the way you spoke of it. It was real steak. Fake news. It was steak. It was beef. It was sliced. They had pre-sliced the steak for me. It wasn't like a whole steak. They had sliced the steak and they had it over rice. But it was good. Jeff Franklin, are you leaving? I should go. Not in a good frame. I'm sorry, Jeff Franklin. Jeff Franklin, you buddy have been there for me this whole time. Jeff, I want to thank you too for everything. I'm glad to see you've got your old name back. And Jeff, this whole time, Jeff Franklin has been one of those people that has been, wishing the best for me. Anytime he sees me, he was wishing me well. And Jeff Franklin, always the same to you, Jeff. Always the same to you. Also, during this time, every day I spoke to Sis Prey. So she was doing okay. She was very worried for us at the beginning. She still is, but a lot less. Now, Lori Roberts is in the chat. Thank you, Lori Roberts. Lori, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I went through the whole what happened, and a giant thank you to Lori Roberts from me and Mama Pray and Sassy. And one day when I'm feeling better and the lockdown is off, Lori is invited here to the house for lunch or dinner one day to see what it really looks like, and to maybe get in a hello with Sassy. Well, let Sassy know that Lori's a good person, and Sassy shouldn't be afraid of Lori. So that will be nice. And number one sci-fi, another person who was out constantly checking on me, says, yes, number one sci-fi did a whole stream, We Stand With Bird stream on 15-minute positivity for you Wednesday. Yes, number one sci-fi, guys. If you're not already, subscribe to number one sci-fi. Check out his 15 minutes of positivity stream, mornings at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. And if you want to go back to the one from this Wednesday, he took clips from a couple of my videos a video before I got sick and a video after more recently. And that was the 15 minutes of positivity. It was very well done. No, it wasn't Salisbury steak. No, it certainly wasn't Salisbury steak. More like a flank steak. Yeah, number one says your last Jeep ride was awesome. It's a good video. I know a lot of people haven't seen it, but it is a good video. Reggie Pools' birthday. Lori has been here the whole time. She's been great. Oh, awesome, Lori. I'm so glad you hung in and could hear it all. Excuse me for the cough. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There was so many things I didn't want to forget, but I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Did anybody have any questions? Any questions as what was going on or whatever? I have to say that I got to give them some credit for the end of life care for the first roommate. I think they did a fairly decent job. Very sad, but it's so sad that people have to be in the hospital with no family and no friends. I don't know how you can do it safely, but damn, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Maybe you need to have people come in to wear a goddamn spacesuit that they literally can't take off until they exit the hospital or something. I don't know. Something needs to happen. I know that much.
And what?
Yeah, but it's coming in for end of life isn't.
I know.
That's a booby prize. That's a booty, whatever it is. That's not.
Sassy is running in circles.
Sassy is running in circles. She's getting her exercise. Josh Street says Sassy was trying to keep the orphans and their mess from all of the parties she was throwing when you and Mama Frey were gone. Could be. Joseph says, Bird of Prey, main thing is we have you back. You do. Lori says Sassy is an illegal beagle. Uh-oh. Kronos says, here's a question. Dear Bops. Well, here. Kinder says, do I speak German? No speaking the Deutschen, but Josef Petrick does. I can pretend I speak German. Kronos says, here's a question, dear Bops. Here's the deal, Kronos. There were 2 Dear Bops made the entire time I was in the hospital. And we're going to save them for tomorrow because we're going to try to get back into a normal stream, a Monday bed life stream tomorrow. So we'll need the Dear Bops for that. Oh, that's right. When I was in the hospital, I tried to work in Ozzy O'Prey, but I never got the chance. Also, it was so cute. Mom O'Prey was like telling nurses would come around. I understand the nurses were all wearing masks. So to me, they were cute because, when you can't see their face, to me, I just assume the person is probably, I extrapolate cuteness from their eyes or something. So every now and she's cute. I mean, you can't see anything except their eyes, but whatever. So like a cute nurse would come, and Mom O'Prey would be like, "Oh yeah, he's on YouTube and blah blah blah." And it's like, "Oh, what do you do on YouTube?" And I said, "Oh, mostly Star Trek videos." And then like every single one was like, "Oh, okay." And then they would say something else and say like, "Oh, I do a lot about this, or I watch a lot of these videos, or whatever." And I know people are saying you should have just told them that you do pop culture and whatever. Like, no, I don't want to tell them to do pop culture. I was waiting if that one nurse came in that said, Star Trek videos, that's awesome. What do you think about First Contact? Or something like that. Or Picard. But no such nurse. No such nurse at this time. So, oh well. Josh Street says, so Bird of Prey, on Wednesday do we get 2 episodes of DS9? No, unfortunately I think we're gonna have to push it back. Eastland says, my feline roommate is not impressed by a beagle, illegal or not. Wow. Joseph says, das war kein Deutsch. That was excellent German. Oi, my Aussie is even better than my German, yeah. Not Ryan Johnson. Says, Bird of Prey, you were better off not using the Aussie or Prey accent. You'd still be in the hospital in the psych ward. Yeah, I was afraid. Richie Pools is a woman wearing a mask is very, very sexy. Just the eyes with everything else left to the imagination. Darth Maul says, Mama Prey, wingman for her son. She was. No nurse nerds. Not yet, anyway. Eddie says, what if the nurse was into Star Wars? Would that pass the mustard? No, Eddie, I don't think it would. It just doesn't work out like that. Yes, the world needs more Trekkie nurses, says John DeMarco. I agree. Indy Tigers Bird of Prey, I just found out that one of our Redskins cheerleaders is a nurse. Very cool. And Josh reads his Bird of Prey, all of the Star Trek loving nurses are already taken. Yeah, I suspect so. Because all the Star Trek loving doctors already got to them. Oh, well. Whatever. One day you'll find one. Epic Beards is what I'd like the nurse is a Discovery fan. Oh. If the nurse was a Discovery fan, she obviously has some type of mental illness. I'm kidding. I mean, I don't know that I could ever love them as a person, but it's fine. I wouldn't berate them. Eastland says, tell them some of the YouTube is like old radio shows and it's top notch. And that's true, but I have a feeling old radio shows wouldn't have brought any of them all that interest anyway. Bradley Briggs says they have to, at a minimum, know what Spaceballs is. Carlos says, Lowell, Star Trek, I love Discovery. What do you think? Then Bird of Prey, heartbroke, indeed. She's like, oh, you're a Star Trek fan on YouTube? I love Star Trek Discovery. Michael Burnham is the best. In fact, I'm going to name my firstborn Michael after her. And I would be like, ah, one day. I was like, good luck. Oh, no, I did not. Number 1 sci-fi Bird of Prey Discovery is awesome, and Strange New Worlds be very strange indeed. Yeah, it's going to be something. Kronos is Bird of Prey sliced beef with rice. Sounds like roast beef, not steak. No, it was a flank steak. It's like a flank steak. So one of my PCAs had a stereotypical Long Island Italian accent. His name was Vinny. And for an hour or 2 hours, he was talking outside the room, which is the nurse's station was out there. So he was talking with his friend, and they were talking about how they can't go to the gyms to lift anymore because they're all closed, or they want appointments. And then even if you can only get an appointment for like 30 minutes, and that's not enough to do a lifting session, and how it's not fair that all that hard work you put into lifting, it's all going to be gone by the time things reopen. But he was the nicest guy. He whatever we needed, he said what he got for us. He kept giving Mama Pray supplies. Take it. Yeah. I take it. You should take it. Oh yeah, things like socks and stuff we had no need. Yeah, Vinny, almost too cliche, super cliche, but a super nice guy. Good night, Yosef. Good night, Yosef. What's a ute? A ute? Yeah, 2 utes. What's a ute? Mountains of Elysium just wanted to say to both of you, Bird of Prey and Mama Pray, God bless the 2 of you. And I hope the worst is over and good things come your way from now on. Thank you so much, Mountains of Elysium. Eastland says you have no proof it was steak. And so, like me, you are saying something somewhat unbelievable and sounding crazy like me this week, teasing you. Listen, I don't care if nobody believes it's steak. That's fine. It was good. All I'm saying is it was good. Reggie Pools is what's on tap for Cinema Saturday. Well, I'm guessing we're delaying. I honestly, Richie, either we're going to take a 1-week delay in Cinema Saturday. So we'll watch the Indiana Jones this weekend, this Saturday coming. Or if by some miracle I've got a ton of energy, maybe we'll do our first Cinema Saturday double feature and get both Indiana Jones 2 and 3 out of the way so we can get back on schedule. Yes, Mama Pray.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes, Mama Pray.
Considering you already had to delay it 1 week.
Yes.
I think you should delay it another week and put in the middle the one your sister will be on with you, because she don't have that many weeks left.
Yeah. Mama Pray is saying maybe we should just force in the movie Sisso Prey will come on with me for, because Sisso Prey won't have that many weeks left before giving birth, before she could come on for Idiocracy or something.
But
we might just do it. Yeah, we might just do that. Captain Drax is a double feature.
Richie did not pay me to say that.
Oh, and Richie did not pay her to say that. It wasn't Soylent Green. I can't believe it's not steak. Yeah. What's this face, Mick Whatnot? Says, hail, Bird of Prey and Mama Pray. Hail, what's this face, Mick Whatnot? Mountain says, yes, Bird of Prey, do that Sisso Prey stream. We'll do something. We'll get Sisso Prey on here before she's due. Let's stream Sisso Prey's birth. Great for subs and super chats. Mama Pray wanted to do that because she wants to see it. No, I'm sorry. In order to get the invite for the Sisso Prey birth live stream, you have to be a double, triple platinum member. Cronus' Bird of Prey, does Mama Pray have a brief tale? Huh?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yes, she does. Okay, Mama Pray.
Okay.
That's
You basically,
pretty sure I told them
yeah,
most of what was going on.
right. Hi, guys. First of all, thank you all for the well wishes and all the nice things you've said and done for both Bird and myself. I will be forever grateful. And to Lori, again, I am forever grateful and also forever embarrassed. But I'm not going to dwell on that. What I am going to say, and if Lori is here, she could probably appreciate it. Besides me leaving two basic, one pull-on suitcase and another really large bag on the table, I had gone through it to pull out stuff that I could fit in the bag I was taking, which was my pocketbook. But so everything was all over. Besides that, we get a lot of Amazon deliveries. So I usually drag them in, put them in the room, and let them sit a few days before I even touch them to open them. So there were some boxes. I just call it the room with the wide door where Joe's wheelchair is, but the door he has to come in, coming back from the hospital. I get out of the Uber because I came back a few minutes before him. Well, what turned out to be a couple of hours, but was supposed to be a few minutes, just to put sheets on his bed and get the wheelchair moved over so that they would have access to the side door. We kind of used the wheelchair, the big, heavy power wheelchair, against the door as a security measure. This way, nobody is breaking in through that door. The door opens in, and you have a 300-pound wheelchair there. All right, so I come home, I get out of the Uber, I look on the porch. I order 90% of the supplies that I use for Bird, Sassy's wee pads, paper towels, and I've this isn't new since the COVID. This was prior to this because I really don't go out. Anyway, what I have done is like upped my deliveries. If I was ordering one of something, I'd order two because sometimes the supplies, especially the ones they use in hospitals and nursing homes that I also use, are getting delayed or canceled. So I really wanted to make sure I had enough of everything. Well, I order them by subscribe and save through Amazon, and they come on the 15th of every month. Sure enough, Friday was the 15th. I looked up on the porch. I had 5 very large boxes. Now, I have to get them in, but I also have to get them away from the area that the ambulance is going to use to get him back in here and into the bed. I couldn't believe it. I dragged them into what was the master bedroom, used to be Joe's bedroom, and I had to drag. They were quite heavy. But I said, on top of everything, I had completely forgotten they were all being delivered Friday. Because if they didn't send him home, they would have sat on the porch for another day or two, providing they weren't stolen. I don't know if they would have been stolen, but they could have been. That was just like one added thing. But I'm glad I got them in the house, got them out of the way.
Mrs. Sci-Fi Nation is sending you some blue hearts.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Sci-Fi. How are you doing? I know we were going to set up a stream between us, an interview, me interviewing you, and I haven't forgotten. Just need a little more time now to settle down. The only thing really on our schedule besides the normal will be, I don't know how many times a week, visiting nurse will be coming. I personally trying to keep it at a minimum because, again, I don't want strangers in the house. I don't know if you told them about when she came. She said, first she asked what insurance. We tell them Medicare and a supplement. Oh, no Medicaid? No Medicaid. Okay. Oh, well, you're entitled to social work,
Right, you want to send social workers, you want to send
physical therapy.
therapists. I mean, no, I don't want any of these people in my house.
Do you want an aide to help
I don't
you?
even want you in my house, lady. I thought you were the specialist.
And I looked at her and I said, any other time, I would say yes to everything. Yes, we could use all those services. But no, not now. No. So, I mean, I know what I can do in taking care of his wounds, but I am not a nurse. If anything goes wrong, I would like a professional to oversee it, but we don't need somebody here every day. I'm kind of thinking maybe once a week could probably do it, but we'll see. And also, I don't want it to interrupt Bird's YouTube time. So that's my story, my half of this adventure. As soon as things settle down here, and hopefully that'll be soon, we'll get back on track. Thank you for listening to an old lady, guys, and thank you for everything. I'm turning it back over to Bird. And if you saw me in the hospital video, you all will know now my hair is no longer the color it was in that picture he just had. Yeah, that hair dye is long gone. It's all gray. I might keep it this way.
Thank you, Mama Pray.
You're welcome.
Daniel's Hot Topics is Bird of Prey. 60-second like. Hello, Bird of Prey. May the force be with you. Thank you, Daniel's Hot Topics. And also with you. And DJ's is listening to an old lady. Anti-Trekker wasn't talking.
Love you, DJ.
John was, what old lady? You know, old lady. Oh, damn, it was just for something I was going to say after we said that. No, you didn't throw it off. It was me. The visiting nurse. Oh, well. Whatever. Anyway. I got to show you guys this thing. Jitsi. Yeah. I almost forgot. Jitsi Lemons, who is, I don't know, is Jitsi, are you in the chat? It doesn't look like he is, but look at this amazing artwork that Jitsi sent to me this morning. He drew this. It's me and Sassy. He drew Sassy, he said, from memory. Very good memory. Aru! And he's got stickers here on the back of the screen. There's a heart that says Mom will pray. There's an alpaca. There's a warning toxic man inside. There's a Karoga flag. There's a Starfleet emblem. And I got me, Justice General Chang, the eye patch with the X through it, which is really for Bird of Prey X, but that's fine. Sassy's got her own eye patch. She's even got the pink little bone. I don't know if he knows it, but that's exactly she does have a pink bone that has Sassy on it. Hanging from her
negative at this time.
collar. So I am going to go ahead and get this onto some merch. He certainly gave me the okay to do so. So I don't know if we'll do some shirts or some watts, but when it is, I will let you guys know. It is an incredibly awesome. He is an incredibly talented guy. Jitsi, and let me put in his. He gave me his Twitter. I'll put in his Twitter if anybody is interested in following him. I can't promise you, what he can do something like that for you or not, but that's how to reach him if you want to. And I can't thank him enough because I've always admired the artists since I know how much I suck at stuff like this. I mean, just the detail on Sassy alone is amazing. And she's sitting in her pose, and she's got her big sassy belly and her short legs. Yes. Oh, John Araki with the $1 super chat. Thank you so much. Oh, you got the Dax, but not the kissing Dax. Thank you, Mama Pray. Yeah. So and of course, all this is on a Bird of Prey. So, granted, he took some liberties, obviously, with the looks, but man, it's freaking amazing. He's freaking amazing. So, again, a giant thank you to Jitsi for this. It really made my day. Really made my day. Resolutes is very nice. That should be the new channel banner. I'm going to figure out how we can best use it, Resolute. It is very cool. Reggie Pool says that is a great image. Use it for the channel. I'm gonna try. Deanna's Hot Topics is Bird of Prey. Bird, to hear the news there will be a Pike Star Trek show. Hopefully it will take place after Star Trek Discovery Season 2. After Disco went to the future. I did hear, Daniel. It's interesting. I am cautiously optimistic. There's a car pulled up in front of the house.
Star in that?
No, they did not ask me to star in it as Pike. No.
Oh.
No. We'll see what happens. John Haraki says close enough. Yes, for Dax. Chrono says I may not know art, but I know what I like. Indeed. No, wait, I didn't say that. But I do know what I like, and I like that.
Okay.
I had a friend who I was so jealous of as a kid. He could draw Garfield. He could draw like Kermit the Frog. He could draw like any cartoon character. And like one of his best birthday presents he ever got me was he just hand drew a Garfield for me right in front of me. It was, I'm always amazed by people who can do stuff like that. Kronos says Sassy is ready to flee away, Bird, fly away. Yes. Kiva Goldsman is writing the show. Like I said, I'm cautious. It's Vinny. He's there to collect. I wouldn't be surprised. Kronos is Bird of Prey, by the way. Where is Garfield on the screen? Oh, he's not on the screen. Good call, Kronos. Good crows. That good crows. Good call. Oh man. Yeah, it's getting to that point. I gotta eat. I gotta take my evening pills and what's not. So guys, thank you so much. I am back. Not at 100%, but hopefully close enough you don't notice. And tomorrow I plan to go back to doing a bed life, more or less around the usual time, 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys a heads up. And I will bring back Garfield, Richie. Bird is back again. 69%. No, it's got to be better than 69%, John Araki. But so thank you all, Qapla, and again, thank you to Anti-Tracker, who did the video from Cameo for that Zoidberg Futurama one. I'll have to put that in as something I can play on this stream. I didn't do it yet, but another thank you to Anti-Tracker for that. So I will. I'm going to eat, and then I will look for anyone who's streaming later, and I will try and find you guys out and see what's going on. Okay, guys. Bird out. Oh wait, I should actually run the credits. Wouldn't that help? Bird out. Oh, Josh reads, "Is Bird of Prey, did the bed give you a red alert every few hours when you were at the hospital?" No, the hospital bed was pretty decent. It took us a couple of days to get it to our liking because they had a ton of extra crap on it. But once we did, it was pretty decent. Qapla. Oh, Carlo with a 5. Oh, hail Karoga. Okay, Carlo. Hailing Karoga. We will end on hail Karoga. Well, no, not that. That's the wrong thing.
Divert auxiliary power to deflectors.
Hail Karuga. Qapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karoga. That's all I'm saying.
That's not what I wanted to play. I guess we're ending on the anthem. Oh, hail great Karoga, land of Jaloda. Hail mighty leader, the great bird of prey. Thank you, Aberjam. And thank you, Josh Street, for that $7 super chat. I did. I downloaded Surviving the Aftermath. I haven't played it yet, but I got it. Okay, guys. Qapla, bird out. See you tomorrow or later.